So I was in the middle of dodging and burning when the 10 minutes ran out, so we can see the difference that made. We've brought that information in the bridge out, so we've highlighted that, and we've darkened around it so that the eye runs down the jetty and then up to the sky. Okay, now that I've done that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what is called a high pass. So it's going to sharpen portions of the image, and in particular that grain, that wood within the jetty. I want to make that come out. I want to keep the water soft, and I want to sharpen this the area around the cloud just a little bit. So what we do is, once again, they Control Shift Alt E to merge the visible layers. I'm going to name that High Pass. Once we do that, we go up to Filter, Other, and then High Pass. Now, what you'll see is a ghost of the image. And if we increase the radius, you'll see more information will become available as such in that ghosting. And now those are the areas of which the high pass has been applied to sharpen them as such by adding contrast. We don't want to overdo it. So usually you just want it at a point where you're just starting to see that information, and I usually set it around 4 to 5, depending how much I want that information in the grain within the jetty. I want that to pop, so I'm going to set that up at about 5, and then I'm going to hit OK. Now at the moment it's just sitting there in that grey spectrum. So what we want to do is we want to change the method of which that's applied to the image to overlay. And now if we turn it on and off, we'll zoom in. Okay, and then if we turn it on and off, you can see how the image looks a bit softer. Turn it back on, and then it looks a bit sharper. And I think over here on this railing, it really shows the difference within there that high pass makes. So what's our overall image? We have a look, and we can see that detail within the wood becomes a lot sharper and a lot more detailed as a result. But if we look at the water, we can see what we want as soft now becomes sharp as well. So I don't want that. So I'm going to remove the high pass by painting it out on that side. I want that to stay soft. Oh, it was only 5%. I need to bump that up. Oops. I missed a step here. Because that is a layer, I need to mask it first, and then we can paint it out. Same on the other side. And then it's the cloud, I want that to stay soft. Paint it out from up there as well. You can see I've left a bit across the horizon to keep the horizon nice and sharp. The jetty to get all that detail in the grain and make that nice and sharp as well. Now from here I'm just going to do one more merge of the visible layers. I'm just going to have a look around it because of in between each of the videos that you've watched, I've changed my mind and adjusted things. So I'm just going to do a couple of heal of some spots that I missed. And then I wound end up with a little bit of ghosting around this little platform here. So I'm going to heal across there as well. The pontoon. That's better. And up across the top. Righto. And now if we, given we've stamped that layer, if we have a look at what we started with, which is that, and then what we've finished up with, we've enhanced that image so that it now has the eye leading up along the jetty, which is a little bit brighter, up to a cloud which now extends down across the screen down towards where the jetty meets the horizon. And then we've put a bit of punch in that cloud by using the levels. We've cooled a little bit around the water just to keep that as it was on the morning. The foreground was quite cool and the sky was starting to get that colour. Hadn't quite reflected down onto the foreground yet. Righto, now from here I just add a layer, so clicking down that bottom right, I make sure I've got my brush selected, get the old signature, pop that down to about 70 as the brush, make sure that's on white, and in this instance, because we've got all that information down the bottom, I don't want to stick it over the top of that. Pop it up the top. Whoa, what just happened then? That was a bit odd. Let's try that again. Oh, it was black. Why is it black? It needs to be white. Let's try that. There we go. Okay, and now from here, it'll just be saving for web, and then saving the file. Saving the file, then saving for web. So go down, save, chuck it in my processed. I'll call that number 3. Make sure it's a PSD file. Hit save. And then we go Control Shift Alt and S, which is save for web. Remember, we want to adjust it so the long edge is 2048. Okay, so I just paused that whilst it was processing, so we go 2048 in there, hit enter. It's going to resize it. So remember, JPEG, maximum quality 100, optimized, 2048 on the long edge, bicubic sharpener. It's now resized it. Hit save and into whatever folder you put it in, and then that's job done. So hopefully you'll be able to now apply a couple of different techniques there. Use the brush to be able to paint in and out the information, so you just adjust specific areas. Okay, hopefully that will get you sorted to try and edit some of those landscape shots. Cheers.